Rodney Graves. Caleb Bundy.
Chloe Graves.
Hannah Melton.
Jennifer Melton.
Haley Melton.
Justin Milton.
Kathy Graves.
Hello, my name is Andrew Graves, and last time I talked to you all, I gave you a general understanding and significance of automobiles. Today I will be elaborating on that topic and telling you why I believe that the 25-year import car law should not exist. So you might be asking, what exactly is the 25-year import car law, and why do I care if it's existing or not? The 25-year import car law is a law that's withheld in the United States that does not allow the import of vehicles into the U.S. if they were never sold here. They have to be at least 25 years old, which would then classify them as a classic car. This law was established to ensure that cars were to meet the standards and regulations of the U.S. automotive and safety laws, which seems to make a bit of sense to us, right? Why would we want cars here that don't meet our specific regulations? But the real question is, what is so different about all of these vehicles that makes them not allowed to be here? And why is it such a big deal? Some of the regulations these cars have were based on the actual regulations that were made during the time those cars were produced. If the cars were not originally made in the US or to their specifications, and if they were not originally imported here for market, then you must wait 25 years to get them. Roadandtrack.com says that some of the reasons they did not meet the standards were for certain things like special lighting or certain bumpers that were not regulated, which these things don't seem to be largely effective in the difference of a car, but they still are important. Both lights and bumpers have important functions for car safety. But if these cars have those, just slightly modified versions, why is it a big deal? The United States is rather strict on the laws of importing anything, and since cars are such a large item, it is even bigger of an issue when it comes to getting cars here that you usually would not. The process of getting these cars, once they hit the 25-year mark, is also rather difficult. Most people have to be really dedicated to their cars or intend on selling them for a profit to go through this treacherous process. MotorIQ.com has an article written by someone who has gone through this exact process of importing a vehicle from Japan, and in the article they discuss how difficult it is to get everything exactly right. You have to make sure you pay specific fees and have the correct documentation from not only America, but from Japan. Not to mention finding someone to ship the vehicle here and have a port allowing you to accept it. With a process as difficult as this, you would think that the US government would not make such laws restricting something that's already a pain. But since they are already in place, what can we do to change them, and what would be the benefits? Hemmings.com is a blogging site that has a link to this petition for this law to be abolished. The most recent act was in 2017, and in order to get the law removed, they needed 100,000 signatures, and it had to be completed in 1 month. This did not happen, as it also failed again in 2014 before. This is the only way to get recognition from the government, so new petitions should definitely be considered. At this point, you're probably wondering, what exactly are the pros for this happening, and is that valid? And I would ask this question as well. My first answer to that question would simply be that people want these cars. There are a lot of people in America that are passionate about cars. There's no doubt about that. There's a big community that evolves around them. And within that community, there are lots of people that want these imported cars. Opposite Lock wrote an article a couple years back about the upcoming of Japanese import cars and why they are beginning to be popular. And one thing they mentioned is how good the condition of these cars may be. They said that in Japan, inspections and registration systems is such that owning an older car is often more expensive than just buying a new car every few years. Hence, people trade up their barely used cars often because there's higher depreciation. This quote does not only show how these import cars could be likely in good condition, but that because of depreciation of the cars in Japan, it is significant so that it's likely to find a great deal on these cars for a good price. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, many car enthusiasts seem to think so, but the people that help get these laws passed, they don't. One reason that people are against importing these cars are because most of the people that are against it are actually large car manufacturers. These companies feel that it is not okay for people to get cars here from outside of their manufacturing plants owned by them in their market. This seems to be unfair to the people of America that desire these automobiles. This is not only something that affects people who want these cars, but when big corporations gain enough power to have significance against actual laws, it keeps laws in place that are unnecessary, and it can affect everyone. Another reason that getting rid of the 25-year import law would actually be for the opposite of what these corporations want to keep it. Abolishing this law could actually increase the popularity of the item, even though it is already high, and this would lead to people opening shops to fix them and sell them. This would increase jobs for many people, and not to mention that since there are tariffs in place for the cars to even get here, that the government would also be making some profit from these cars being imported. There's proof that this is likely to happen, since there are a few desirable cars already hitting the 25-year mark, and there are shops that are opening to sell these exact cars. In fact, just a quick search pops up multiple shop websites like the Dallas JDM Motors in Texas, which after reviewing their site is a company that specializes in importing these cars once they're legal and supplying parts for them as well. And they also do repairs. Just like a normal dealership, but for older imported cars. Overall, the 25-year import law is not a law that betters our nation. In fact, it may be hurting it. There are many benefits from getting rid of this law, and I hope that you see the good in that pursuit too. Thank you.